Good morning. It's Monday, the 24th of November. Okay, so just very quickly, we can see that they're a bit vol-devol. The devol chart has come into these previous highs and rejected. So I think we have seen potentially volatility peak for now, and we're likely to see this drop off for the time being, which is just a useful thing to be aware of, I think. Obviously, this was 10-10. But every time we come into here, since, well, all year, this has been where volatility has peaked. So my expectation is that things slow down a bit this week on that basis. All right, let's start with VWAP. I mean, it's looking terrible. We are imbalanced down on the week and the month. We are on the week, but particularly on the month and the quarter, and obviously rejecting around the developing month's value low. We swept into this 12-hour imbalance. So, this could even be the high of the week, right? Who knows? I am not very confident in getting long at the moment. If we just look at the PA, it's been a very slow grind up. It hasn't really been particularly impulsive. We haven't really seen bulls taking control of this market. So, I'm not too confident about calling for higher prices. There are long setups, which we'll come to. But yeah, it can't be complacently bullish here, that is for sure. So if we look here at the daily, clearly just swept into this gap around monthly val. That really sums it up. So good area to take profit last night, hedge out any spot exposure or whatever. Right, so what now? Are we going to make new highs this week, or is it cooked? Well, that's difficult to answer, isn't it? But there's clearly we've got the CME gap, so coming to tag that in the first instance is a good start, I think. If we are going to make higher prices, at least take out the high. This is such a significant area of resistance. This is why I think this could actually just be the high of the weekend already. We've got the composite value high here, yearly val, monthly val, previous week's VWAP, big selling imbalance, a lot of volume. This was the most impulsive move we've seen, really the whole leg down. So sellers obviously really in control here. And for that reason, given that we're still in this downtrend, do you really want to be longing into this area? I mean, maybe, but I think you just need to be very mindful of what is actually happening. So what do we have? We have, it's a weekend. We've got previous week's value low and the high volume node around the mid 84s. Interesting area potentially to look for a long. Otherwise, the only other setup I can see honestly here for longs right now is a sweep of Saturday's low into the weekend composite, so the Friday-Saturday composite low around 83k. But yeah, as I say, I just think that the trend is very much down. VWAPs are horrendous, and I think there's every possibility that we just go lower. So for that reason, I'm just a bit cautious. The other possibility, of course, which would make things easier, is that we just balance here, form some kind of new range, and then we will have better setups later in the week. But all I can really see for now is maybe a long from previous week's val kind of area, this high volume node, or sweep of Saturday's low for longs. Shorts, maybe if we come and sweep the highs again, as I say, this area I think is just such a significant area of resistance that any push into it is probably a decent area to look for a short. And sure enough, last night around monthly val, that was the case. So I think that's it. I mean, how to get into shorts now is difficult because I don't think the weekend, the Friday Saturday composite is particularly meaningful. Okay, we've got clear interactions, but there's a possible return pullback short there. But unless I just hedged out yesterday. So yeah, there isn't really a clear short setup to me at the moment, unless we break down from here. It might not be the easiest thing to take. So I'm hoping that we just balance for a bit and get more structure to work with later in the week, because at the moment it's a bit difficult. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's go to ETH next. Yeah, I haven't really looked at it, but I mean, yeah, it's very similar picture. found some support at previous week's val this morning, but yeah, unable to even make it up to VWAP and test the developing month. So yeah, still like this area, but at the moment we're being capped in that kind of macro LVN that we talked about before. So, if we can come into 2900s, it'd be an easier short. Otherwise, the ETH does have an easier short setup, which I shared in the majors channel last week, which is just if we lose this composite high at 2670. So this may well be, again, a sort of decent medium-term high in, and then looking to trade that down towards this composite low at 2450. So that's an easy one. If that sets up, for now it looks pretty bad. Solana similar. We actually came into a little gap here around, again, monthly val, and it's rolling over. So ETH and Sol look weak. And honestly, like people saying, I think BTC is going to rally and ETH and Sol are weak, are just really missing the point here. And ETH and Sol are majors, and if they're weak, it's very likely that BTC is weak as well. So yeah, it was a good short here. It was a shame this came during the Asia session. Would have liked to have taken that. Other than that, I'm just going to wait for New York. I'm not going to drone on today. I mean, alts are chopping. Obviously, we had big sell-offs. Let's just take another look at Hype. So we had a push, another attempt into this comp last week. I'd really like to see this 35 level tested. We've got the single prints, developing months val at the moment. Also, that's going to come down. Kind of pretty crappy poor highs that I was looking to get short from last week. It's actually Saturday. But yeah, we'd love to see it push into 35. Whether that's it, we'll have to see. Maybe we reject even in this imbalance again. So it's difficult. Again, ideally, maybe a few days of balance here would just give us something easier to work with going forward. So at the moment, my ideal short scenario would be if we get a spike into 35 for any reason. That's where I'd like to short Hype. But yeah, if we can balance here for a bit again, it will just give us something easier to work with. So there's nothing, really leaping out at me at the moment in terms of tradable setups. And for that reason, I probably won't continue for too much longer. Unless anyone has something to say in the chat. Looks like not. Any coins you guys want to look at, just shout. Otherwise, I'll probably just leave it there because, nothing too obvious to me at the moment. XRP is just doing the classic XRP thing where, it looks bearish, but really, this failure to hold in this comp should be the high. So, I am short XRP from yesterday, but not, I don't know. This coin is just a nightmare to short. I'm glad I took profit here on Friday on that nuke. We'll see if we get continuation. Would like to target previous year's value high, assuming this fails. But again, looks like it just wants to chop, holding within Sunday's value essentially. I'll leave it there for today, guys. So catch you next time.